Hey, what's up guys? This is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Reason I haven't is because I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to do it, and I'm still not sure how I'm going to do it, but here we go. Anybody who has known me for any period of time knows that I am obsessed with little 1/16 scale, 1/25 scale model cars and trucks. I have a tendency to get really carried away with them, and I'll go out and buy actual square tubing from a hobby shop, and you can build full custom frames for them. You can buy aftermarket wheels, aftermarket engines. I mean, you can get really carried away with model. I mean, I have a Ford Ranger model over here that I did exactly that. Full custom chassis, body drop, custom roll pan, custom paint, custom wheels. But what I'm getting at is a lot of people ask me about models and they want to get into them, and they think that it's a really complicated thing to do, that it's really expensive, and that's not necessarily the case. You can make it very extreme and very expensive, like I have a tendency to do. But what I want to do is just build the kit the way that it's supposed to be. I'm not going to modify it, I'm not going to go all crazy with it. I'm going to shoot some paint on it, a little bit of detailing, and put the thing together. And what I have here is a 40 willys gasser set. This is actually a 2-in-1. What that means is you can build the vehicle two different ways. It's not two models like a lot of people think it is. This one you can actually build in the truck form or the car form. I am still not 100% sure which way I'm going to go. I have, however, opened this already and started smoothing down some of the body lines from the castings because I'm anal like that. I did do it on the car body, so odds are that's probably what I'm going to go with because I've already started that, and the truck cab will still be useful for a rat rod or a future project. So made up my mind right there, didn't I? The basics of what you're going to need to put a model together, and I mean the very basics. I thought I got it out already. I could have swear I did. I did. I just didn't put it over here. Tube of glue, a couple bucks. You can get smaller paint kits than this, but this is the route that I normally go. You can also buy like a huge variety of other colors, down to even like actual manufacturer colors. But this will come with enough variety. You can do most of what you need. It also comes with paint thinner, and they normally come with brushes. Paints come in all, or the brushes come in so many different styles. I normally stick with like 3, and a knife or a razor blade, and that's really all you need. If you want to really stick to the basics, you will need some spray paint. One thing I've been confronted with a lot, and I don't mean any disrespect for this, but it's very funny. People will actually get a hold of me and ask if I can fix the paint on their models, and I'm like, well, I don't know, let me check it out. And when they bring it to me, they'll actually have brush painted the body, and then obviously you have all the brush marks, and basically you just destroyed the model at that point in time. You definitely want to use spray paints, aerosol of some sort. They also have like little air compressors. Guys get really wild. You need to check out the lowrider scene, not only in real life but in the model car world as well. These guys do amazing work. Definitely check that out. But once you get more into it, I think this thing's like half empty, but we're almost there. Bunch of different razor blades. Very handy to have around. Sharpening stone for the blades. I normally just kind of have a piece of sandpaper laying around. I'll actually just kind of lay it on the table because I don't know if we'll catch it on the camera or not. But there's actually normally, you kind of can, bad casting marks like that, and a lot of times you can actually just take them and scrape them off with your fingernail. But depending on how crazy you want to get into it, I mean, if it's your first model, you can literally just open this thing up, get a stick of glue, not even paint it, and put it together. I mean, or just paint everything one color. These things, just like real cars, you can go as crazy as you want with them, or as simple as you want with them. Tweezers, always handy to have around. Man, that's really as far as I go. I'm not going to use any of these For this, I'm going to use my paints, probably 1 or 2 knives. Probably won't even end up using the tweezers, the glue, and the sandpaper. I am going to do some rattle cannon. I'll tag you along for that. I also have acquired, I've got a couple of these. I can't find a little spring-loaded thing for it, but they're super handy to have. You can clip all your little parts onto them, and it rotates, and there's actually a banded or a clipped station that holds the model car bodies from the inside, and this thing is awesome. That's it as far as tools. I mean, you can do some really cool stuff with just these basics. I kind of showed you the car body. It's just super simple plastic. There was some kind of rough castings and slag. I'm kind of particular about my paint, so I do run over and I check all this stuff, and I'll pre-fit some of my body panels. It's plastic. It warps. It's not always perfect. However, if you get a hold of these companies, they will actually replace these parts for you. Super cool. Chassis of the car, very basic. Obviously, everything's going to glue to this. All your suspension, your engine, and then the body will go over the top of it. Wheels and tires, everything's all individually packaged. There's all 4 tires. These are going to be your axles. Fully detailed instructions for anybody still intimidated. Everything's numbered, and they give you super detailed instructions for these things. So if you're wanting to get into the hobby, do it. It's very fun. Gratifying, even when you manage to get these little meticulous parts together and build something really cool. All the parts come on these little trees. This is the chrome section. Everything comes on these, and you literally just go through and you cut them off, and you obviously don't paint the chrome. I mean, you can if you want to, it's your model, but all of the rest of the pieces are just plain white plastic or whatever color they're molded in, and you obviously paint these if you wanna, and you just follow the instructions and glue the stuff together. I'm going to show you some of the little oddball things that I do that kind of help speed up some of the processes or make things a little easier, or even make the models stay together longer. The new glue doesn't work for crap anymore. I don't know. It's not as acidic, or it doesn't make the parts bond or almost like melt together the way they used to. It makes the parts stick, but they're way more brittle, unfortunately, at least in my opinion. What else I got to show you? They come with these really cool water stickers, and yes, I said water stickers. If you've never heard of them, they're very cool. Come on. They've got all your little like sponsors and aftermarket companies on there, and you just cut these out individually. There's a clear cover on them, and you'll put them in warm water, and they'll literally slide off of this paper onto your door or your window, your license plate, or wherever, and then you just kind of I normally use a brush and kind of make sure they're just nice and flat, and you'll never see any of the background, and you'll only see the colors if you do it right. And it's super cool. It's just as they dry, they just stick in place. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. This is a super old kit, which is kind of cool. It actually comes with a cardboard cutout of the model box itself, so when you build this, you can actually have like a diorama, like cool set together. More parts, same thing. They're all just on trees. Paint them, cut them, paint them, whichever you prefer to do. I do it both ways. Winders, same thing. Come on trees. Be super careful with these. If you get glue on these, you will see it, and it will drive you nuts for the rest of your life. So be super careful when you do your clear pieces. I think that's all I got for you. I'm going to start working on this thing. Basically what I've done is I've just gone through and I've taken some of the trees and I've cut off sections of them of pretty much everything that I want to be this color. All this stuff is going to get semi-gloss black, and we'll get some little minor details and stuff that I add to it later. But I like to do it this way. I mean, a lot of people actually like hand paint all this stuff, which is just fine. I'll hit it all like this, and then you'll just have little itty bitty marks that you have to touch up instead of painting the whole thing, get your fingers all grody and whatnot. So make sure you shake the crap out of your paint so it mixes up real well. You get a good paint job. I'm not going to prime these. This is not the body, and this will take care of it just fine. So give us a little test squirt. And basically what I like to do, I particularly like this style. They can fan instead of spraying in a circle. It's actually a taller, wider spray pattern, and you can just kind of hit it back and forth. And I really don't know how to else explain that motion or what I like to do, but basically, let's see if I can catch this here. This is just the first coat. I'm not going to go real heavy on it and try to completely cover this whole thing. I'm just going to lightly mist it and then let it tack up for just a second. And then I'm going to come back and hit it with a heavier coat, kind of a medium coat. And then after that, I will then come back and hit it with an actual kind of heavy coat depending on coverage. And then, once that's all dried and painted, flip it over and do the other side. Alright, so, back again. As you can see, all the wet parts are now black. Everything's coated quite evenly, both sides. And like I said, I'll go through here and I'll add some little details and stuff. But after this beer break. Alright. What I'm at now, actually, is I've got the primer on the 4D Willys body itself, and I've done my first real light mist coat on the hood and the body. I showed you that on the chassis and stuff, so I didn't want to bother with it, but I did want to show you me going a little bit heavier. Again, I probably could have just set up my little tripod, but didn't. Trying to watch a camera and make sure I spray decent is kind of a challenge. Try to be around, I think it normally says like, was it 8 to 12 inches or something like that. I know I get a little bit close sometimes, but again, sorry for the kind of goofy angles I'm hitting here. I'm kind of really trying not to goof up my paint job here. Alright, so that's what we got so far. I'm going to hit her with one more coat after this, and then we're going to go clear. After that, we're on to chrome and water stickers. Just another quick little snippet I wanted to sneak in here real quick. It's something that I do and I got off my dad many years ago, so I'm sure it's a thing that anybody who builds a model does. I'll normally assemble my engine halves. They normally come in 2 pieces. I'll go ahead and glue them together. In this case, I went ahead and tossed the heads on it too. If my phone stopped being blurry. Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh, there you go. So, like I said, it was 2 pieces, and then the heads are on it. And then I just stick them on either a toothpick or a paper clip, or basically anything. They'll go right into the transmission. And while I'm right here, got my last coat on the willys. She is sitting here. I think the front end's gonna need one more, 'cause right in there it's a little bit thin. But other than that, I'm gonna paint the engine to match. All this stuff's all painted. I've also got the interior over here. And once all this stuff's all put together and kind of one solid unit, we will do some detailing. Alright, so on to another quick little session and tip. As you can see, the engine is now yellow with the heads on it. One thing I've noticed, especially with like the newer glue, I keep saying newer, they switched a long time ago, but it doesn't glue as well, doesn't stick together as well, especially with the chrome. So what I actually do, you can see all these little parts right here are all chrome plated and shiny. What I'll either do is, this one's kind of super simple. That's where the sandpaper comes in handy. Just hit that, super simple like that, and it knocks that chrome plating off, and that will actually glue to what you're doing a lot better now. This is super simple. I actually forgot my header, so give me just a second. Alright, so I know a yellow car and a yellow engine seems probably like a little like bright in your face, and that's because it is. Gassers were traditionally like bright colors and real like metal flaky paints like boats have, and white headers. These were actually chrome. I sanded these down and primed and painted them white. So that is why this thing is kind of bold and in your face. I'm not gonna bore you with full assembly of it, but I did want to show you like how quick, and I'm forgetting one more piece, how quick and easy it actually is to throw these together. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Never mind. I know a lot of people are really intimidated. See, I just snapped a piece right off. Gonna clean her up. I have painted this already. This is the lower part of the intake manifold for the engine. Glue. I do have the instructions sitting here as a reference. I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Don't typically need them. However, sometimes pieces need to face a particular way, and they don't necessarily show it very well in the casting, and it's why it's just a double check on most model kits, because a head might need to face a particular way, or it might look like it's pretty much exactly the same, but there's a little like stud or nipple sticking up on one side. Just little things to look out for. No fly attacking me. So there's a lower piece of the plenum on there, and we can start going with a supercharger. I've already except for the bottom of this, sanded and scraped everything. So this in theory is going to go together really fast, or I can throw my pieces. So easy a dummy throws the stuff around can do it, see? I said I'm making this video and I was kind of like, I feel like it's super lame, but I've had a lot of people ask me about models and building when they see that I've got a plethora of them sitting around, or I post them on my Instagram, and they're really not a big deal. And you can paint them whatever color you want, and customize them completely, just like you can in real life. It's kind of an expression of yourself, just a miniature version of it. At least that's the way I feel about it. Trying to like speed build this engine real quick, so bear with me for just a second. Just kind of dabbing some glue on where I know my next parts are gonna go, so that I can make this happen real fast. Just the front of the blower. Oop. Get on there. Front of the blower. Line up and spot. This is not necessarily a hobby you want to pick up if you're not a patient person, because I promise it will get tested often. Just like all the pieces I just had sitting here, and I can't find one that I know I had. It was right here. I thought maybe I didn't cut it off. Anyway, let's get the front of this blower situation. Why are you fighting me? I'm recording. There it goes. Nope. Oh, it doesn't want to seat on there very well. That's a thing that's going to happen quite often. It's just, molded plastic. This guy, it fits. It's just, he doesn't necessarily sit on the tab that's here for it very well, unfortunately. We'll toss our valve covers on. Bam. Bam. Then oil pan. Yeah, it's all starting to go together. Go together pretty well now. We're going to take him off for a minute. Clean that up a little bit so it fits a little better and I don't get glue all over everything. But, there's still a lot to do. I just wanted to show you. And I know it wasn't a great example because that part is fighting me. But once you get everything painted and cleaned up, I mean, look at that. That's pretty cool. All nice and shiny, all that chrome. I got, set of white headers that'll go on there. And there's still a distributor, water pump. I mean, all kinds of crazy detailed stuff on there. That's all I wanted to show you with the engine real quick. Get you sitting up. Set that stuff aside. Another thing I wanted to show you, again, I know I mentioned that the gasser style cars can kind of be flamboyant, kind of loud on your face. One thing that I noticed a lot of old hot rod guys have always done, not always done, but was popular, they would checkerboard their firewall. I've already painted my firewall white. And it's not going to be a lot of checkers because this is it's thin tape, and the scale of our sized automotives 1:1, but in 1/24 scale I'm only going to get just a couple little stripes on here. It's the only tape I have, otherwise I would have done much finer. But I'll get a couple little guys out of this, and that's fine. There's one stripe. Some tape off of me. Get off of me. Do that right there. Wrap that one around. Oop. No, you can't really see what I'm doing, but basically I'm just making my first lines for my checkerboard. Ooh, skeeter. Alright, so again, the tape's a little thick, and I wish it was a thinner diameter, but you can see I'll just hit that spot with some black, the white spots that need black, I'll pull the tape off, and I'll have a checkerboard. Boom, super simple. That's all I got for this little segment. I'll come back here in a little bit. What? Some of you guys are actually still sitting through this. Alright then, I guess I have some things to show you. Jump right into it. I'm trying to make this video as short as I can. It's not going to be very easy, I don't feel, but as I explained to you, I take all the parts on the trees. I normally try and hit all my base colors or spray paint with them first, and then I'll go through, and obviously you can see these guys are painted silver, but I'll go into much more detail with them, either on the tree still or as I kind of piece them together. Roll cage does not want to stay up. But I've got the interior all put together, a roll cage in there, steering wheel on my chrome. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but I've actually, you can kind of see it, detailed the gauges, all nice and fancy pants, pretty in there. Little minor details like that make a huge difference on these little itty bitty things. And like I said, sometimes I'll do that on the tree, other times I'll kind of half-ass put these things together and go from there. Earlier, when I was putting the engine together, I'm sure you guys obviously saw me struggle buzzing with the front of this blower. That's one little piece. I did have to go in there and kind of chisel at it and clean that thing up to make it work. Like I said, a lot of the times these parts aren't perfect. They're normally manageable, but not always. But give me a little looky. And it's not glued. The engine's all glued together, but it's just sitting in the frame. It's just kind of mocked up for look purposes. Set that aside. And then I've got all my suspension on there. I didn't want to bore you with all that. I kind of showed you just a super quick, like how fast this engine went together. One thing I do want to make note of is these headers. Every once in a while you have like an oddball part that doesn't really have like a prong or a male female part that holds it together, and you just kind of have to rely on the glue to harden and stick everything together. I had to hold this thing for what felt like ever at like a particular angle, and then after the glue set up a little bit, I was finally able to stand it up. I think I went front of the engine down, and I had to let it sit like that. But the headers are finally all dried on there. Just so that, you know, if you run into a hiccup like that, you know, don't think that, you know, you're dumb and you're doing something wrong. It's just every once in a while there's little inconvenient hiccups like that happen. I think that's really all I got for you. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you some of the actual details because you really can't see it with the forward-facing camera. And so, here we go. Okay, yeah, that's way better. Much better, yes. Like I said, I believe this roll cage is going to need to kind of stand up. But you can see I got some little details in there. I got to touch up a little bit on the roll bar. You can see I went in there and shot some silver on the dash there and detail the gauges. Got your stereotypical giant chrome foot pedal, your shifter. I am going to do some probably like gold flake on the steering wheel. A, because it's cool. B, because that would be correct for the style of vehicle. I didn't get all out of control. This model, because of what it is, actually comes with a lot of like cool chrome stuff. So you don't have to go really crazy to make it look cool. For instance, this little center section right here of the rear axle. Steering wheel, shifter, the valve covers, blower, all that stuff. But very, very cool model. But I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. And it's just kind of for real quick mock-up purposes. But, ooh, I can show you something real quick. I have the winders in. And, yes, if you did catch that, they are red. That is another thing that would be period correct for a gasser, as they often, I forget, oh, I feel like an idiot now. I can't think of the material they use for the windows, but they replace the glass I can't get that to fit on there quite right now, but I'm not going to force it. On a lot of times they had like red or green windows, normally on the side, not necessarily always the windshield, but normally the side and the rears. But I know it looks kind of goofy, but once all the sponsor stickers and everything on there, it's going to look super sweet. So, bam, little teaser. Wham, wham. Bruce, are you excited? No, I didn't think so. Alright, so here we go. Hopefully my phone doesn't fall over, but on to the water stickers. They come on just a sheet like this, and you don't have to be real particular about them. They're kind of just enclosed by themselves, so long as you cut out in their general area, you're good, because they've got a pretty tight outline on them, so just a wee bit. Alright. So, bam. Try that again. Bam. GLNH top band. And then all I got here is just a tub of just some warm water, and there's not very much in it. And just toss this dude right in here. Bam. I only let them sit in there for just I don't know, a couple seconds, just enough where they kind of absorb the water. Don't let them sit too long, because they'll float off of the paper. And kind of just, wait just a second. You want to be careful with these, because once they let loose, they glide like butter. But every once in a while, one part will let loose, another part won't, and you'll tear these things right in half. I'm going to get this guy back in the water real quick. There we go. And as you can see, not really, this thing just slides right onto that. And that's all I'm going to do, is I'm just going to slide this right off the paper onto the dough. Bam. Got to center it up there. Make sure it's level-ish. And then, like I said, I just take my clean, dry paintbrush here, and I'm just kind of put light pressure on it, and basically just kind of like squeegee the water out. Bam. Super simple. And then just be careful that touch them. They take a minute to dry, but once they dry, they're on their lifetime. Super cool. That's it for that. Next time you see this guy, it's going to be 100% done, all the chrome on it, and you won't have to listen to me talk anymore. Toodles! Alright guys, so, as promised, here it is done. Everything except for the hood. Like I said, this will clip on here and open and close, but this bracket all glues on separately, and these little pinholes you have to slide through, those are actually two pieces. I'm going to let those dry overnight before I pop that on there, but here we go. And I didn't do anything extra crazy on this besides this little like kind of sloppy checkerboard pattern I did on the firewall, and I didn't like the air scoop that comes with this kit. It's a plain plastic piece, and with all the chrome I thought it looked really bad, so I threw a couple of chrome carburetors on there. I'm going to touch those up. They're off a different model. The green looks kind of goofy, but I will go through and add just a few little details. But you see, I got all the water decals on there, the door handle, tail lights, windows in, and that's it. That's a wrap. So I just kind of wanted to make this video because so many people ask me about these when they come over. They're super gratifying. They're not that hard. And like I said, the gratifying part by itself, when your friends come over, they'll ask you, where'd you buy that? And well, first of all, I built it. It started off as like 1,000 pieces, and I painted them individually, and I made that little thing. But that's it. Check it out. Go get you one. They're like 15 bucks. Grab you a rattle can, some paintbrushes. Go to town. Laters.